Hook, midnight to 0:15. What if one ordinary favor changed your life forever? I agreed to drive my best friend's younger brother across town. 45 minutes. That's all it was supposed to be. But by the end of that drive, I was questioning everything I thought I knew about love. And trust me, it only gets more unexpected from here. Introduction. It was a cold Tuesday in November. Gray skies. Light rain. The kind of afternoon that makes everything feel slower. My name is Ellie. I'm 52. Recently divorced. Both of my children had moved away. For the first time in decades, the house was completely silent. Too silent. Most afternoons, I'd escape to my favorite coffee shop. Not because I love coffee, but because I hated feeling alone. That day seemed no different, until my phone buzzed. A text from Sarah, my oldest friend. It read, "Can you do me a huge favor? Ben needs a ride to Oak Haven. His car broke down." Ben, her younger brother. I hadn't seen him in nearly 15 years. Back then, he was just an awkward teenager, always following Sarah around, always trying to fit in. I smiled, typed one simple reply. "Sure, I'll be there in 20. I had no idea that single message was about to change everything. The first surprise. Sarah's old Victorian house looked exactly the same. The peeling white paint, the creaky porch, the flower boxes overflowing with late autumn leaves. But Ben wasn't the same. Not even close. He stepped onto the porch carrying one duffel bag. And for a second, I honestly forgot how to breathe. Gone was the skinny teenager I remembered. Standing in front of me was a confident man. Tall, broad shoulders, relaxed smile, kind eyes. He looked older, stronger, comfortable in his own skin. When he smiled, tiny laugh lines appeared around his eyes. The kind earned through real life, not age. He opened the passenger door. "Ellie," his voice was calm, deep. "Wow, it's really good to see you." I smiled back, trying not to stare. "It's good seeing you too." As he settled into the seat, a faint scent of sandalwood filled the car. It was subtle, comforting, unexpectedly memorable. Neither of us realized it yet, but that drive had already begun. Retention loop number 1. Most people think love begins with fireworks. Ours started with something much quieter, a simple conversation. And before this drive ended, one question would change everything. The drive. The city slowly disappeared behind us. Traffic lights turned into open roads. Concrete became rolling hills. At first, the conversation stayed safe. Sarah, family, work, small talk. Then I asked, "So what do you do these days?" His face lit up. "I'm a carpenter." Not just any carpenter. He restored historic buildings, old churches, farmhouses, century-old inns. He spoke about with the way artists talk about paint. Every sentence carried passion. I found myself listening, not because I had to, because I wanted to. Then, he surprised me. "What about you?" Most people ask that out of politeness. Ben actually waited for the answer. I told him about my freelance design work, about my children moving away, about the quiet house, about the loneliness I rarely admitted out loud. He didn't interrupt, didn't try to fix anything. He simply listened, really listened, and somehow that felt more comforting than any advice. For the first time in years, I didn't feel invisible. Transition. The road curved into countryside. Golden fields stretched toward the horizon. Rain clouds slowly began to break apart. Funny how the weather changes. Right when your heart starts opening too. A connection I didn't expect. The closer we got to Oak Haven, the easier everything became. We laughed, shared old family memories, talked about dreams we'd quietly buried. He told me about restoring forgotten places. I admitted I'd always wanted to illustrate children's books. I laughed after saying it. It sounds silly. He shook his head immediately. No, it sounds important. Nobody had ever answered me like that. Most people smiled politely, changed the subject. Ben leaned in. "What kind of stories would you tell?" Such a simple question. Yet no one had asked me that in decades. For the next 20 minutes, I forgot my age, forgot my divorce, forgot everything I had been carrying. I just talked, and he listened. Retention loop number 2. Looking back, that conversation should have ended in the parking lot. Instead, it led to a dinner invitation that neither of us planned. And that's where things became impossible to ignore. Arriving in Oak Haven. Oak Haven looked like something from an old postcard. Brick sidewalks, warm streetlights, little bookstores, family-owned cafes. Time seemed slower there. Ben pointed toward an old stone building, the Willow Creek Inn, his latest restoration project. I parked near the entrance. The ride was over. At least, that's what I thought. Neither of us moved. Silence filled the car. Not awkward, comfortable, meaningful. Finally, he looked at me. Ellie, thank you. Not just for the ride. For today. I smiled. I should be thanking you. Then came another silence. Longer this time. Neither of us wanted to open the door. Neither of us wanted the afternoon to end. And then he asked the question that changed everything. The question that changed everything. Ben took a slow breath, then smiled. I'm probably going to be here for a few hours. He looked toward the small restaurants lining Main Street. If you're not in a hurry, would you have dinner with me? For a second, time stopped. Dinner? With Sarah's younger brother? Every logical thought in my head screamed, this is a bad idea. But another voice, a quieter one, whispered something different. When was the last time you truly enjoyed someone's company? I couldn't remember. So, I smiled. I'd like that. The relief on his face was impossible to miss. And somehow, that made me even happier. Transition. Sometimes, life doesn't change because of one big decision. It changes because you simply say, yes. Neither of us knew it yet, but dinner would become the beginning of something neither of us expected. A dinner that felt different. The restaurant was small. Warm lights. Soft music. The smell of fresh bread and garlic filled the room. Nothing fancy. Just comfortable. Exactly the kind of place where conversations last longer than meals. We ordered lasagna. A bottle of wine. Then we talked. Really talked. Not about work. Not about the weather. About life. He told me why he loved restoring old buildings. They've survived decades. They deserve another chance. Something about those words stayed with me. Maybe people deserve second chances too. I told him about my marriage. Not every painful detail. Just enough. He never interrupted. Never judged. Just listened. And somehow, the weight I'd been carrying for years felt lighter. Retention loop number 3. By the end of dinner, I realized something that honestly scared me. I wasn't just enjoying his company. I didn't want the evening to end. And what happened next made walking away even harder. Dreams we had forgotten. The conversation shifted. What would you do? Ben asked. If fear didn't matter? Nobody had ever asked me that. I laughed, then answered honestly. I'd write children's books. I've dreamed about it for years. But life happened. He looked directly into my eyes. Then maybe it's time. No joke. No sarcasm. Just belief. Complete belief. It's amazing how powerful one sentence can be when it's spoken by someone who actually means it. Then I asked him the same question. He smiled. I'd buy an old house, restore it, fill it with books, and invite people who need a fresh start. I stared at him because somehow that sounded exactly like the kind of place I needed. Transition. Outside, the streets had become quiet. Inside, time seemed to disappear. Neither of us noticed how late it had become until the waiter gently reminded us the restaurant was closing. The walk to the inn. Cold air greeted us outside. The stars had finally appeared. We walked slowly. No rush. No awkward silence. Just two people enjoying the moment. Our shoulders brushed. Neither of us moved away. Ahead stood the Willow Creek Inn. Beautiful. Historic. Almost magical beneath the soft lights. Inside, the smell of old wood and fireplaces wrapped around us. This place is my favorite room, Ben said. You have to see it. He opened two heavy oak doors. Inside was the most beautiful library I'd ever seen. Floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, leather chairs, a fireplace glowing quietly. Moonlight spilling through giant windows. It felt timeless. Retention loop number 4. That's when I realized this day was never about giving someone a ride. It was about finding a part of myself I thought I'd lost forever. But Ben still had one more question, and my answer would change everything. Coffee, books, and honesty. He returned carrying 2 mugs of coffee. We settled into oversized chairs. The room was silent, peaceful, comfortable. We talked about books, movies, travel, childhood memories, even embarrassing stories. We laughed more than I had laughed in years. Then he became quiet. I almost didn't ask Sarah to call you. I looked up. Why? I figured. You probably wouldn't want to spend time with me. I couldn't help smiling. I'm really glad you asked. His smile answered before his words did. So am I? For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Sometimes, silence says everything. The biggest decision. I checked my phone. Almost 11 o'clock. I should drive home. He nodded, then hesitated. There's another option. I waited, then as guest rooms. I'd hate for you to drive alone this late. Stay here tonight. Separate rooms. No pressure. I'd just like tomorrow morning to happen. His honesty caught me completely off guard. There was no manipulation, no expectation, only kindness. And somehow, that made the decision even harder. My practical side listed every reason to leave. Too complicated, too unexpected, too risky. But my heart kept asking one question. When was the last time you felt this alive? I couldn't answer, because I honestly didn't remember. So, for the first time in years, I stopped overthinking. I smiled. I'd like to stay. His face lit up, not with excitement, with gratitude, as though I'd given him a gift. The ending, that night, nothing dramatic happened. No grand decorations, no fairy tale ending. Just 2 people who found comfort in each other's company. Sometimes, that's where real love begins. Not with fireworks, not with perfect timing, but with one unexpected conversation, one ordinary favor, one simple choice. To say yes. Looking back now, I realized something. I thought I was giving Ben a ride, but in reality, he was helping me find my way home, to hope, to possibility, and maybe to love again. Call to action. If this story touched your heart, take a moment to think about the unexpected people who have changed your life. Have you ever found love or friendship when you least expected it? Share your story in the comments. We'd love to read it. And if you enjoy emotional, heartwarming stories like this one, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next story. Because sometimes the most ordinary moments lead to the most extraordinary endings.